2nd and 8 for the Portland State Vikings as we begin play here in the second quarter.
We were talking just before the break, Tom, about the inconsistencies of Portland State. You know, no matter how good you are, no matter how well you play early on in your career, it is still important, as you mentioned with Ruben, to have somebody there to push you, to always be there, no matter where you're at in your career. It's just really important to have that competition, to always keep you striving to be your best and to stay in the lineup and to do your best. I think it's actually one of the reasons that the Grizzlies have continued to have such great success over such a long period of time now, is their depth has been so good. You even look at C-Shea pitchers. I mean, just what a great defensive end, but he's got guys behind him that when he got injured could step in and play at basically the same level, and now he comes back and there's just good competition really at every spot.
Of course, Montana lost one of their studs on defense 2 weeks ago, Lance Spencer, for the season to a knee injury, and that has really hurt that Grizz front in terms of depth, no doubt about it. 2nd and long. Ruben, right side, that is Fuquay, and Fuquay has the first down.
Nice looking play. They fake a little quick hitch pass out to the corner and run a draw out of it, and highly successful.
Yeah, it's a tough scheme because you're going to fake that little quick bubble screen and get everybody running and then give a little draw right up the middle to your fastest guy. Good scheme.
He is a good back, definitely gets down the field very well.
First and 10. With 2 wide. Ruben's the back. Going deep. Too long.
As intended for number 4, Ahmad Robinson.
Ahmad Robinson, who is the leading receiver for this club so far this season. And they overthrew him. Robinson's a good one.
Personal foul was the signal there. Wasn't holding. That's one you almost wish as a Grizz fan that they would have completed. Complete a long pass, feel good about it, and then have it called all the way back.
Yeah, it was in the area where the umpire or the back judge would throw that, but kind of a silly, you hate to see those, as a coach, you hate to see those kind of penalties because it's just something that can be avoided.
After the play, personal foul, offense, number 62. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. The down counts, 2nd down.
Boy, that's a big penalty.
And those are the kind of penalties. I know we have a board up in Kalispell that we call those drive killers, because you got a little drive going, you're starting to move the ball. Something like that just absolutely kills and stops your drive.
Mike Stachowak, the guilty party with the personal foul. 2nd and forever for the Vikings. Whitehead, the man in motion. Ruben trying to block in the flat. Incomplete. Absolutely lit up. Dave DeCoit and Brett Myers put it on to Joe Weiser. That was a shot. Myers came like a rocket.
We talked about Brett earlier, and he is a real physical player. Watch him here. He's just kind of shadowing the quarterback and steps up and really levels him.
He does a great job right there, Bob. When a quarterback sprints out, the side that he sprints to, the outside linebacker, is simply going to come get him every single time and just scrape. We call it a scrape linebacker. He's going to scrape right down the line of scrimmage and pursue the quarterback. What a tremendous job by Brett Myers right there. It's really tough, almost impossible for the offensive line to pick that up.
Now 3rd and long and 4 wide for the Vikings. Fuquay's in the game as the back. Weiser, nowhere to go, and he's brought down after a short gain. Chris Connors was there.
Bob, you talked at the opening of this game about getting more pressure last week against Idaho State. Really the reason, and Tim Bush talked about it during the week, the reason they didn't get as much pressure is because the coverage wasn't there last week. A lot of 3-step drop. Hetherington was able to get the ball off. This time, great coverage. Weiser has nowhere to go, and that's what leads to the pressure.
Matt Langford back to punt. Levander Seeger stands inside the 35 of Montana. Good snap. Punt is away. Seegers is going to have a good chance here. From the 35. Taken down. Taken down at the 37-yard line. A 45-yard punt and a return of 3 yards for Levander Seegers.
Levander there working really hard to try to get to the wall, get to the sideline, and just couldn't quite get there.
Seegers 4th in the Big Sky in terms of punt return average before this game. And we're going to take a timeout. Montana leads this ball game 6-0, so we're just barely into the second quarter. We'll be right back. The Grizzly offense trots onto the field following the timeout. Walden in the game at tight end, along with Colt Palmer, number 45. Brad Weston not playing today. He's got a banged up foot rather. Jefferson Heidelberger taken down, tried to get to the corner, but not happening. Matt Poore makes the stop. Loss of 4.
Just good pursuit by Poore right there. He sees this a little fly sweep again to Heidelberger, which they scored on earlier in the season, but safety just runs the alley really well and takes him down for a loss.
Looks a little bit like Brent Myers did a minute ago. Nice play.
Hilliard in the game with Oaks, now 2nd and long for Montana. Fakes one way, back to Hilliard on the left side. Hilliard's got a crease, taken down after a gain of 7.
Nice little screen there, Grady. Have you been, you got the coach, Lex, and I commented last week what a nice job he's done as a freshman. Again, we watched the screen develop here. Have you been surprised how great he's doing as a freshman?
Not really at all. I mean, like, we all knew how talented he was as a sophomore, just incredibly talented. And then really his junior and senior year, he just came down with so many injuries. And, like I said earlier, you kind of get the mark on your chest. Teams start completely preparing everything in their defense for him just to stop him. And we had some injuries and different things at other spots. And, I knew for sure that he was going to be a great player.
Willie Walden now in motion. Fake the give to Hilliard. Oaks with tons of time, and he's got Tate Hancock for a Montana first down.
Hilliard on that one made a key block, too, to give him time to throw it. See if you can see it on the replay. A nice block to spring the pass.
Well, the good thing about Lex is that really even as a high school player, he was such a complete player. As a running back, you have to obviously run the ball, you have to catch the ball, you also have to pass protect. And I thought that was probably one of Lex's biggest strengths, was he pass protected so well, and you could see it right there.
Three receivers to the top of the screen. Alone in the backfield. Oaks with a double fake, and he's dropped. That's a sack. Gangbusters on Oaks. Deep in the backfield, Josh Ratliff, who we talked about off the top, was the defensive player of the week in the Big Sky. Got there first and got some help later.
Well, what's going on here? This is actually a nice scheme. You'll see it. They've run this play twice now. What they do is they run the same looking scheme. Now they're going to try to bring Willie Walden over the middle, but the defensive tackle sits on it really well and takes it away. So they're trying to fake it to the left, then fake what they've already run to Lex back to the right, and then throw it right in the middle to Willie Walden. But somebody stayed home, made a great play.
One too many fakes. Ratliff, the big defensive end, leads this team with 5 sacks. Now he has 6 on the season. Hilliard, nice moves to make the first couple guys miss, but he's brought down, tackled by Chris Berg, and it'll be 3rd and long for the Grizz.
Trying to run a little draw and get just a little bit of it back. And as I mentioned earlier, that's what Lex brings him, which Coach Houck mentioned he's so excited about, is Lex can run over people, but he also has a nice little bit of shake with him. You'll see here a nice move. Then he's going to make this guy miss and get it up the field well.
You hate to make comparisons with a guy so young, but that first little step he has reminds me a lot of Johansi Humphrey's first step in the hole.
Yes.
Oaks under heat, dropped, taken down by Berg. Berg makes 2 consecutive plays, a tackle and now a sack, and the Grizz really backed up, and the battle of field position may be turning towards the Vikings after a great defensive series.
Give the Vikings credit here. Excellent pressure, just coming up the middle and beating the block. Great play.
4th sack of the day already for this Portland State defense. Tyson Johnson gets it away. And a great play made by Jason Delasalva. No return. Delasalva, the transfer from UConn, 38-yard punt, and no return. Dallas Alba has made a couple big plays on special teams so far this year. Another good one there. We'll take a break. When we come back, the Vikings with the ball. We are back. Remember, at halftime, stick around. It's going to be a lot of fun. Brian Salmon's going to be joining us again and have some guests. Robin Selvig, Lady Grizz basketball head coach, and Pat Kennedy, men's basketball coach at the University of Montana. Kennedy with a big recruiting class to talk about. Highly ranked recruits coming in this year for the Montana Grizzlies.
Yeah, it sounds like it's an excellent recruiting class, and I might want to clarify one thing I said a little earlier, giving the credit to Coach Houck and his staff for recruiting, but it was actually Joe Glenn. He's just used them well.
Big play. Weiser complete all the way down to the Montana 25-yard line. Jay Williams, a guy who really killed Montana last year. Williams had a third-quarter touchdown in that thriller in Portland, and Williams comes up big again on the huge completion from Weiser.
Well, this is one of those frustrating plays as a defense. You get good pressure, quarterback rolls out, really throws a duck. He just kind of throws it up in there. You can see the ball is hanging and wobbling, and then the DBs just kind of lose track of Williams, and he goes and makes a big play on him.
Just the 18th catch of the season for Williams, who's not been a huge part of the offense, but that was a huge play right there. Now Weiser looking for more through the air. Coming back this way for a screen. Whitehead's wide open. It's a foot race to the end zone. Whitehead's going to win it. Touchdown, Portland State, and the Vikings have tied this game.
Excellent scheme here. They run away, take everything to the right, then slip back underneath with Whitehead. He's running full speed basically, delivers a great pass, and he runs underneath the coverage and away from everybody's flow.
Yeah, we talked about staying home earlier, Bob. You can see Whitehead slid across the formation in motion, acted like he was helping block on the sprint out. Then he slides all the way back across the formation, and you can see what a great athlete he is. Once he catches it, he turns on the jets and he is gone.
The kick is up, and it's good, and the Vikings take the lead 7-6 on the touchdown to Whitehead. One more look, and a great misdirection play fooled the Grizzlies, and the Vikings lead by a point. The Vikings lead 7-6, and that drive, a long 43-yard pass to Jay Williams, got it going. And the next play, Whitehead took it in, 71 yards total, only 36 seconds, 26 yards on the score to Whitehead. But it was set up, again, by that bomb to Jay Williams on the coverage that broke down, and Williams made a great play coming back to the ball.
Well, here comes the #1 return unit in 1AA football.
And Levander Seegers throws the ball across the field, and the Grizzlies are getting a huge gain out of this. Threw it back to Tough Harris. We were clued in that they were going to try something goofy on the special on the kickoff return. Seegers, there's a flag on the play. Seegers throws a duck.
Coach Houck talked about this special teams play, and boy, we'll see what the penalty is, but there could have been trouble on that pass. But he picks it up and does a good job getting upfield.
What a play. Tough Harris. Credit Tough Harris for keeping his eyes on the ball and making a great play on the ground ball and picking it up and just, #1, retaining it, and then Harris with obviously great speed to turn it upfield for a big gain. But again, officials conferring on the flag. We'll get our explanation from Ray Willett coming up right now. Penalties offset, a flag on each team.
Now they have to decide if it's going to offset and they have to just re-kick the whole play over, or if it offsets from that spot.
I'm going to guess that if they re-kick, they won't run the same return play.
Absolutely. Or they might tell Levander to at least set his feet and try to throw a nice ball over there so Tough doesn't have to play baseball with it.
I think it'll be at the spot there.
After the play, personal foul on the receiving team. Also after the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on Portland State. Since the penalties both occurred prior to them being reported, they offset first down.
Montana takes the ball from where the play ended. As you heard our guy, Ray Willett, explain, both penalties coming after the ball was dead. They offset, so the ball stays, of course, where it ended after the play.
Very important now for the Grizzly offense to get something going. Pretty disheartening. You've really outplayed Portland State. You've played well. You've had the field position battle in your favor. You've had the turnover battle, and you're down 7-6. They really need to get something going here.
And that's not it. J.R. Waller with a short gain. Brian Salmon standing by with something for us from near the Portland State bench. Brian.
Well, Tom, after Portland State scored that touchdown, you can see the guys on the bench were very excited. They have the momentum now. A lot of the guys on the sideline said that, they're not scared of this Montana football team. And we both know that winning and thinking that they can win is half the battle. So we'll see if they can carry that momentum into the second half of this game. Back upstairs to you guys.
Thank you very much, Brian. Heidelberger to the near side. Up over the 40, and on second down, the Grizz have put themselves in a position to have a better chance at third. It'll be third down and a long 5.
Actually, a pretty good job. Ran the bubble screen right here off a little play action fake. And both receivers on the outside here just let the DBs come off of their blocks. You might be able to see it on the replay here. If they just stay on to the finish of the play, Heidelberger might have a shot. They both cut, as you can see, and then both defensive backs get up and make the play. Got to try to stay on your blocks as long as you can.
Portland State burns their first time out of the first half.
The good news for the Grizzlies on the last one, even though it didn't get a first down, it gets them into a third and about 5 instead of a third and long. So now, as you mentioned earlier, the playbook will open up a little bit. But it's pretty crucial right now for Montana to convert this, keep the ball in their possession, and at least get out of here with a field goal.
Grizz trivia number 2. Which present Grizz coach, assistant coach, has 2 Super Bowl rings?
That one should be fairly obvious as well if people know anything about the Grizzly staff. There's only one guy really that has any of that kind of experience.
Go ahead, Grady. Give us the answer.
Well, I don't want to make myself look like a fool now, but I would think it would be Coach Von Oppen.
Right, you are. Fred Von Oppen, several years coaching experience in the NFL.
Right.
A stint with the New York Giants as well. And with the Niners, he got 2 rings during the Bill Walsh era. Interesting about Coach Von Oppen, he was set to retire. Called Bobby up to say, hey, you got any property? You got any leads on real estate where I can buy a place in Montana to retire? And Bobby said, well, why don't you come down here and help me coach while you're at it? And so he talked him into helping out, and he's been a great part of this staff. Seegers in motion up top, coming this side. Dane Oliver, catch, first down into Vikings territory, down to the 48, and Mr. Third Down, as I seem to like to call him, because that's what he does. Dane Oliver just, that's what he does. He picks up third down conversions, and he does it again.
Well, as a quarterback, there's definitely certain guys that you are going to go to on third down when you know you've got to convert. And even as an offensive coordinator, you're going to call certain plays that really try to get the ball in the hands of certain players.
Craig Oaks, 7 of 9 for 60 yards here in the first half. It's been a good first half for Oaks, and he throws this one away as he was under extreme duress. Sagapulatelli, along with Ratliff, that time applying the heat.
Now, Bob, you made a great point in the break last time when they tried to run that screen over the middle to Willie Walden. Oaks hung on to the ball and ended up with a huge sack. This time they're trying to set up a nice little screen. It's covered. He does the right thing, throw it into the ground, and go 2nd and 10 instead of a large sack.
Those are the two leaders on this front applying the pressure. Sagapulatelli and Ratliff that time got through to get to Oaks. 2nd and 10. Again out of the gun. Seegers gets a block from Talmadge, and he's driven out of bounds by Raynard Carey.
Seegers does a nice job here, you guys. He gets out of bounds, picks up 5 or 6 yards, and again gives him an opportunity to get a third and short rather than third and long. Nice job and a good block by Talmadge.
Yeah, and that's what I talked about. Instead of cutting, John tries to stay up and he stays on here to the end of the play. A lot better job right there.
Another third down conversion coming up, or third down situation rather, for Montana. They'll try to make the conversion. Oaks Going to get the first down by virtue of the penalty as Reynard Carey was locked up on Talmadge. Talmadge couldn't even raise his arms above his head as he was being held, and Montana will have the first down.
The officials had a little help there. The whole Montana sideline gave them their perspective on that call.
No doubt, Grizz fans looking for things to cheer about this week. It's not often that the Montana Grizzlies have come off a week where they had a conference loss. Not too many times the past several years, and these fans are anxious to cheer their team onto a victory.
Pass interference, defense, number 3. Since the penalty occurred less than 15 yards, it'll be a first down at the spot of the foul.
You know what's kind of crazy about that, however, Tom, when you really look back to last season, it's almost kind of scary. The Grizzlies have lost 3 of their last 4 Big Sky Conference games, going back to that Eastern Washington and Montana State games to end last year's schedule.
That's cheating. Quick start along the front of Portland State. But there's also a quick start along the front of Montana. False start against the Grizzlies as the Vikings were drawn off, and a 1st and 10 goes to a 1st and 15.
Prior to the play, false start, offense, number 76, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, still first down.
Brad Rhodes
15 for Montana.
got a quick start. Good look at Coach Bobby Houck. His first year at the helm of the Montana Grizzlies. Give to J.R. Waller, and J.R. can scoot, and he's got an open lane, and he is near first down yardage.
Nice run, really hard at the point of attack, a little off tackle, pull a couple guys to help him out, and he makes the most of it.
Yeah, like you said, Bob, they run a little counter play here. You'll see, I guess that's Rhodes and Dylan McFarland pulling. This time Rhodes does a nice job on the end. Dylan does just enough to kick out the outside backer. J.R. Waller has a nice hole to run through.
We haven't seen the Grizzlies throw a lot of deep stuff much this week, whereas last week they did go deep early in the first half of the game. We'll see if they try one here.
Well, 2nd and short's usually a good down to try that.
Halfway through the first quarter, or second quarter rather, Waller again, and first down. The sticks will move, and the Grizzlies now really putting a drive together as they're looking to retake the lead.
Grizzlies just running their zone play. They're famous for that. That's really the run play. It's kind of their bread and butter. And what J.R. Waller does, great vision right here. He reads the cutback very well and picks up the first down.
Great look at Craig Oakes, who last week really had his first great passing day as a Montana Grizzly. And he's got 4 receivers at his disposal again. Jefferson Heidelberger reels it in, and that's going to be a first down, Montana. Heidelberger, the leading receiver, has kept it up today as he's had his number called several times, and he converts one more time for Montana.
Well, I think what you're really starting to see with Craig Oakes now is he's really starting to settle in and get comfortable with his reads. He knows where he's looking. First read, and then his checkoff 2nd and 3rd. And you can just see him start to make quicker and better decisions every single play, really.
Shadow of the Grizz Vision Jumbotron. Oakes keeps it himself. Oakes is going to score a touchdown, Montana.
Well, they talked about this play at quarterback club, actually, Grady. They said that Craig had been bugging the offensive coordinator to call his own number off that, and we talked about it earlier, off that draw, and that's exactly what he does. He fakes a draw inside, keeps the ball, and you got McFarland or one of the tackles pulling out, giving him a big block, and he does the rest.
You know, Craig Oakes was a good running quarterback when he played for the University of Colorado. He ran the option pretty well down there, and it did a lot of things with his feet, so he definitely can run the football. But the key there, what a huge answer by the Grizzly offense. After Portland State takes the lead, they drive down and take it back.
That was actually Corey Proctor that made the big block on the left side for Oakes to get him into the end zone. Snyder puts it through, and it's 13-7. Montana now up by 6. You saw again, Proctor buried his man, and Oaks took it in. Bobby Houck claims that Oaks is the fastest guy on the team. I know the look he just gave me, Grady, is like, what? He's told me a couple times that Oaks is flat out the fastest guy on the team. I don't know if I buy it or not. I think Heidelberger's pretty fast. I think Chris Clark is pretty fast, the true freshman corner. Anyway, whether he's the fastest guy or the second or the third, he is a very good running quarterback when he's healthy, and it appears that that ankle that had hampered him and kept him out early in the year is really starting to get better now. Showed great mobility a week ago, and again there on that touchdown run.
Well, it could be a scary thing in the fact that maybe our team speed's not very good, or if
is that good or bad?
Yeah, or if you're right, and if Coach Houck is not fibbing to you there, then what I talked about a little bit earlier on a drive is really key. If Oaks will consistently, if he'll go to his one read and then his two read, and then if it's not there, if he'll step up in the pocket, and if nothing's there, run, he'll make some big plays happen. That's what Dave Dickinson was so good at. He would go through his progression of reads, and if nothing was there, he ran up into that pocket and made things happen. And I think Craig Holtz, if he's that fast, will really be able to do that.
Snyder set to let it fly. He booms another one. They're not trying to place any today. They're letting Snyder go. Way takes a knee. That's been a different thing for the Grizz each week, too. A lot of times, sometimes Snyder will let it go and try to boom it and just pin it deep and get the touchback, but they will also try to place the ball where Snyder will kick it high but not quite as far, and the object trying to be the returners to field the ball near the goal line and bring it out and rely on team speed to try to pin them even farther inside the 20. But it appears today that they're letting Chris just let it fly. Weiser in, and the Vikings set to go. Curtis, the man in motion. Whitehead along with Joe Rubin. Rubin right side. Not a whole lot going. Alan Sines along with Andy Thompson there to make the play.
Well, Portland right now, with 6 minutes to go until halftime, they're going to be thinking the same thing Montana did on the last drive. Let's run the ball, not leave our game plan. Don't panic, throw, majorly downfield. But on the other hand, they'd love to come out of here with at least a field goal and go into halftime.
Weiser came into this game. See there, he's got 95 yards already. He came in second in the Big Sky in passing and second in total offense. Putting up over 250 yards per game for the junior. And he's straight back in the pocket, and he's going to run. Makes a move to get around Brett Myers, gets a block from Whitehead, and he's up over the 25. Good mobility, and again, good presence of mind. We just talked about Craig Oaks doing the same thing, and Weiser follows suit.
Exactly, Tom, and he's a good-looking kid. I mean, he's big, strong, has a nice, strong arm. You can see right here, nice drop back, reading the field well. His 1 and 2 are not there, so he's going to step up into the pocket and run with the football.
A kid who really had to wait and bide his time for Justin Wood to finish up his stellar career at Portland State. And the first 2 years sat on the bench, attempted just 3 passes over his first 2 years, and now he's throwing the ball 25, 30 times a game. Vikings only 1 of 5 on third down. Now they're 2 of 6.
Pass complete to Whitehead.
Whitehead, did the ball come out? The Grizzlies say the ball came out, but no, the official on the spot says that Whitehead was down before the ball came out, so it's a first down for the Vikings.
That's a good read by Weiser right there, too. He sees the blitz coming off the edge to his right side, so he's going to go right into the blitz where he can see it coming and deliver to the guy that the coverage has left because of that blitz.
And a good call by the officials because the ground can't cause a fumble. He was down with his knee there when the ball did come out.
Pretty close.
Yeah, very close.
Very close. Instant replay.
If we had the red hankies,
if we had the red hankies, we may have a different outcome. That was closer than what it first looked from up here anyway. 2 wide, 2 tight ends in the game, and they're going up the middle. Rubin, good yardage on first down, and the Vikings have plenty of time here. Just over 4 minutes left. They have 2 timeouts at their disposal, and they're in good position at the 41-yard line.
The Vikings definitely are loaded with a lot of skill positions. As we saw last week, Idaho State as well. Just a lot of talent on the perimeter, at running back, at wide receiver, at tight end. This Portland State, they're loaded as well.
And they had to reload at wide receiver. Jesse Levin and Antonio Jackson. Remember those names from last year, Grizz fans. The last couple years. They both graduated. So it's been up to Brown and Jay Williams to do it. And like good offenses do, like Montana does, they're able to reload each year. And here's Rubin. Breaks through the first initial contact, got through the would-be tackle of Tim Bush at the line of scrimmage, and he scoots forward for a gain that's near first down yardage. It'll be 3rd and short.
Actually, I think that might be Andy Thompson there, Tom. You can see right here, he steps up in the hole, outside backer. You're right, Tim Bush right there. Yeah, you were correct. Tim Bush, normally just a great tackler, but Rubin did a nice job of making him miss.
Bush held in check last week. Montana had no sacks against Idaho State. They need to improve on that today against Weiser. They're all stacked in goal line formation. Rubin straight ahead, no way. Not even close. Joel Robinson cut him down, and the senior from Kalispell makes a big play.
Give the Grizzly defensive front. You mentioned a goal line. Everybody's up in the box. Everybody cancels a gap. They get real physical, come off their blocks, and make an excellent play. And Joel Robinson from Kalispell, Grady, you remember that, coaching that young man.
What a great young man he is, too. And what a fine play, as you mentioned. Cancel gaps. Joel shoots his gap, gets a hold of that leg, and keeps him from getting it. Looks like Portland State's going to go for it here.
Portland State taking a big chance here at the end of the first half. I wonder if they might try to just draw the Grizz off sides. No, they are going to go for it. Rubin right side, no. Chris Clark was there on top of the pile. Who's on the bottom? Big Alan Sines, number 99, and the sophomore Alan Sines makes a big stick.
He's had a good game today. This is the second big play he's had. And again, on 4th down, this could be a game breaker, or at least a half breaker. If Montana, they do stop them, if they turn it over, score a touchdown out of this, that could be a major break for the Grizzlies.
You see Dave DeCoit initially shoots into the backfield and forces Rubin to turn it up just a little earlier than I think he wanted to, right into the arms of Alan Sines, who had played well down the line.
Sines got a big paw on him, and that was all it took. 3 Bills, they call him. I don't know if he's really 3 Bills. He's 300 pounds, but he's close. He's big. J.R. Waller up the middle, scoots to the outside. Jitterbug to the 35, to the 30. Cuts it back in. Face mask penalty. No. Yes, the flag is coming in. That's going to tack on some more. Waller with a big gain. The Montana's going to get some more off of it.
Well, we talked about the turnover there. Grizzlies stopping him, and Waller just does an excellent job. I'm surprised he didn't stay outside, keep running at the end. It looked like he had an open field at the outside.
Well, I think you're right, Bob, for a couple reasons. Of course, there's 2 minutes, which is plenty of time, but a lot of times you want to get to that sideline and take that guy on one-on-one, maybe try to rip and get up the sideline, and
Personal
also
foul,
stop the clock.
Face mask, defense, number 55. Penalty is half the distance to the goal from the end of the run. First down.
Oh, I bet the Vikings wish they'd have punted on the last series.
Great block on the perimeter that time, too, from Tate Hancock to help Waller. And then Waller, at the end, cut back inside Benji Tucker, who's one of the better players in that Viking secondary, and put a good move on him. So 1st and 10 for Montana from just about the 11-yard line, so they can gain another first down if it would come to that. Approaching 2 minutes to play.
You know, you talked about that decision, though, Bob. As a coach, you want to have confidence in your offense. You want to let your offense know, hey, we got a yard to go. We can get this, fellas. But when it backfires, you know, now you're kind of stuck with the decision and hoping your defense can hold.
Oaks to Waller. Waller taken down by Joey King.
Yeah, but in a good, tough game away from home, midfield, if you're on the goal line, that's one thing instead of a field goal. But, when you got to punt it and then the home team with a chance to score and run out the clock, it's just puts your team in a tough spot.
You're right. I think Coach Walsh, if he could do it again, would definitely probably punt. That time it looked like Waller just got ahead of his pulling guard. They brought Rhodes around again on that same little counter play, and Waller was maybe just a little quick. If he's following him, he might have had a nice gain right there.
Oaks from the gun, wide open. They almost ran what looked to be a pick play, and the recipient is Tate Hancock, and for the second straight week, number 30 has a touchdown for the Montana Grizzlies.
Great play. Hopefully we'll get to see it on the replay. As you said, the inside receiver, Tom, is just going to kind of go up and run into the corner and kind of pick him. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it or not, but he's just going to run a little rub. Oaks does a nice job of looking off, and yeah, you can't quite see it on the replay, but the corner was just kind of rubbed off by that slot receiver inside, opening Tate Hancock for the touchdown.
Number 29 is on to try to make it a 20-7 ball game, and he got it. The Grizz pull ahead by 13.
Well, and the key, Bob, as we were talking about, whether it's a turnover, a fumble, or an interception, or whether it's, you know, that situation right there where a team goes for it on fourth, the key is what you do with that on offense. And the Grizzlies now have capitalized twice and really changed the course of this game after Portland State had taken the lead 7-6.
And what you got to feel good about if you're a Montana fan is the way they did it. They ran the ball, big runs, and then they throw a beautiful pass here. And they needed this to kind of go in the locker room with.
Absolutely.
I'd like to say hi to all of our stations watching Monty moonwalk across the state of Montana today. KPAX in Missoula on the Montana Television Network. KAJ in Kalispell is where you're seeing us. KRTV in Great Falls. KXLF in Butte. In Helena, they watch on KXLH. Bozeman, KBZK, and our friends at Q2 in Billings. 3 plays, 44 yards, and just a $109, 10 yards on the score to junior wideout Tate Hancock.
Now, the only thing you could have wished ultimately was that you would have taken a little more time off the clock, because Portland State, with all these weapons, has still a minute. Now is when I think you tell Chris Snyder, definitely unload, kick it deep, make him go 80 yards.
Fuquay, number 20, standing on his own end zone line. Nick Swanigan, the other deep man for the Vikings. Snyder lets it go. Not going to make it. Swanigan from the 1. Oh, cut down. Good hit. Tackle made at the 13-yard line. Great play. Dustin DeLuey. Yep, Dustin DeLuey makes the play.
They got him listed as a linebacker here, and boy, he put a linebacker tackle on him.
That was a great hit on special teams. And instead of making him go 80 yards, as you talked about, Tom, with Snyder, didn't make it to the end zone, but he kicks it so high and so far, it allows the coverage team to get down there, and now Portland State has to go 87 yards, so it actually works out even better.
And that was intentional. When, you know, Bobby Houck has told me, when you see the ball not reach the end zone, it's not because Snyder didn't hit it well enough. That was the call that time, so that the pin play works this time, as it's inside the 20, it's from the 12. Right side, Fuquay up to the 20-yard line. Under a minute left now, 50 seconds left in the first half.
The Grizzlies will definitely be content with them just running the ball and running the clock out here, and it looks like that's what Portland State's going to do. Maybe, well, they're not even going to be in a hurry-up offense, so Portland State might just be content to go into the locker room down 20-7.
Remember, coming up just moments away, a little basketball preview for the University of Montana at halftime. And the give again to number 20, Fuquay, and he is tackled in the backfield. Guess who? I'll give you one guess, Grizz fans. Brent Myers.
Great play by Brent Myers. He plays so hard. He's been so much fun to watch for Grizzly fans the past few years. Kind of really comes out of nowhere, starts on special teams. Watch him fill the hole right here, break down and make a great low tackle.
Well, I had a chance to coach him in junior high, and he was a pleasure. He's a real gentleman, hard-nosed kid. I mean, he'll play with all his intensity. You see him every week, and I was kind of hoping he'd have a big game today here at home.
Grizzlies 20, Portland State 7.
After 30 minutes of play, the Grizzlies lead 20-7. We're going to hit the stats and highlights later in the half. But when we come back, we'll turn it over to Brian Salmon, who will be with Montana men's basketball coach Pat Kennedy at the half. 20-7, Montana.